All right, today I'm going to be playing a Patchwork KCI aggro deck. This is a list I put together sometime in 2022, and I actually played it in the Paper Vintage Champs that year in North America to a 5-3 finish. Leading up to that event, I had a bunch of 4-1s and also a trophy. I know Justin Gennari also trophied with it at some point and has a video on his YouTube channel. So in 2022, the deck performed well enough for me. It's been a long time since I've played it. Not really sure how it goes in this metagame, but I'm excited to take it for a spin today. So walking through the philosophy of the deck, the way I like to think about it is that it's like a Ravager Shops deck that is substituting most of the prison cards, but for a combo kill. So, on the one hand, we've got the Ravager Shops cards and Patchwork, Ravager, and Inspector. And on the other hand, we've got the typical KCI combo pieces. Now, originally I put this deck together because I was looking for a home for Patchwork Automaton. Obviously, Automaton has natural synergy in any deck that's churning through a lot of artifacts. So to that end, at the time, I was trying things like Paradoxical Outcome before landing on a shell that I prefer, which is KCI. Now, the Patchwork Automaton not only plays well with KCI, looping things with Scrap Trawler and Ichor Wellspring, but it also plays nicely with these Sensei's Tops. So if you've got two Sensei's Tops, you can keep looping them over and over again to make the Patchwork bigger. And if you're fortunate enough to have a Foundry Inspector, well, then you can loop them infinitely and end up with an infinite Patchwork Automaton. So this deck does have some pretty strong aggressive potency. Even if you're not comboing off with the Patchwork to make infinitely large creatures, or you're not doing the KCI stuff, you can be doing Ravager and Scrap Trawler stuff and attacking for a lot of points and damage. You would be surprised how hard this deck can hit. Now, there are a few things that I want to point out here. The main thing is that Sensei's Divining Top is what I would consider the glue that holds the deck together, so helps fuse these two strategies. Already covered how well it plays with Patchwork Automaton, but it also plays really well with Krark-Clan Ironworks. Like, you'll notice that I don't have Chromatic Star in this deck, and that's because Sensei's Dividing Top does a good enough impression of that card that it's fine. It's a decent enough cantrip. I think you can tap the top to draw, hold priority, and sacrifice it to the Ravager or to the KCI and churn through your deck that way. A few other things to note. As an aggro deck, it can be very useful to slow down the opponent just a little bit to eke out that extra bit of damage. So like sometimes I'll end up on turn 1 with like 7 or 8 power, looking at a turn 3 kill, and that's often too slow in Vintage. But you can help seal the deal with cards like Trinisphere, Lodestone, Karn, Godfarer Statue, and Chalice. Like these cards can really help just buy just enough time to eke out a victory. And Chalice might raise an eyebrow here, but honestly, with all of these sack outlets, it has almost never been an issue, and it has been quite valuable on a number of occasions. So definitely I'm not getting rid of all of the disruptive pieces. Like I even have a Singleton Strip Mine here. Now you'll notice I don't have Wasteland or Urza Saga in this deck, at least in the way it is configured here. I don't think those cards belong, especially the Saga. Now I found both of them just too slow. I was basically poised to win a turn slower with those cards than I needed to be. So instead of keeping those in, I added some islands and some blue cards. Now, I know that the lack of blue sources has drawn some scrutiny in the past, especially like I don't have Chromatic Star, for example. And I think that's warranted criticism, but I would like to point out that it actually hasn't been that much of an issue for me. You don't need to play these on turn 1. They have a lot of value on turns, 2 through 4, or if you're comboing off. And, there are 8 cantrips, one of which looks at the top 3 cards of your library. So, again, it hasn't been that much of an issue, and these cards have been very valuable to me. Now, when it comes to Saga, I'm not playing that again because I think it's a little bit too slow here. I think that card, you really need to play it with counter magic or more prison pieces like Sphere Resistance in order to get the most out of it. So you don't want it to just be your fallback plan, but also occasionally be your main plan if you're disrupting the opponent and playing 4/4s with it. But this deck doesn't really do that very well, so I'm not playing it. Now, as this deck's comboing off, again, the way it kills is with, making a bunch of huge creatures and time walking, or getting a Karn, the Great Creator, making an infinite walking ballista, for example, or getting the Mycosynth Lattice for the lock. So, I'm playing a single Karn in the place of something like a Manifold Key and a Time Vault. So pretty compact kill. For the sideboard, I have a bunch of anti-bizarre stuff. I can also, if necessary, I can sideboard out of some of the combo pieces against Null Rod decks and try to play more of a classic Ravager Shops angle. So, bringing in things like Wastelands, taking out things like KCI, and some of the tops. So this deck actually has some decent play through Null Rod. Now I have a few cards here on the board for combo. I've got some dismembers for like oofs and mono white, that sort of thing. I'm not going to make any additional changes to the deck. I'm keeping it pretty much as is from 2022. I just don't have a firm enough understanding of how this deck plays out in the metagame to make some more confident adjustments. Like maybe I need more walking ballistas for Orcish Bowmasters and that sort of thing. But I'm just going to run it as is, see how things go, and then start making some informed decisions about what I would change if this is a deck I want to keep playing. So thanks for watching. Let's jump in. All right, round one of this vintage league against Singpan Man, who I have exclusively seen on Merfolk. And they have exclusively seen me, I believe, on Bizarre decks. So hopefully they think I'm on a Bizarre deck today and I can get them with this KCI deck. This hand has a lot of mana but no gas. It does have a Sensei's top, but I think I probably need to mulligan this. I think this hand is probably acceptable if I were to rip some action off the top and then find some more with the top. I think I need to start aggressively against their deck. Like that. That is fine. All right, so obviously keeping the Tomb and the Automaton. Do I need the top? Because as it stands, I could go Tomb into Automaton, Emerald, Ruby, Pearl, Trawler. That's a pretty aggressive start. I mean, if I do that, I'm effectively going all in, and I have to hope they don't have a Force of Will, but I end up with, a 5/5 and a 3/2, and I think I'm going to do that. I believe that I am the beatdown against their deck, if indeed they're on Merfolk. If they're on Doomsday, well then that's quite bad. They're certainly taking a moment to think here. Not a lot of thinking to be done on our end. If they are in the deck, I think they are. So they've got 4 hull breachers. Oh, okay, all right, we're beginning. What is that? Interesting. Okay, so I officially have no idea what's going on. But they started with a Wasteland kind of card. Maybe this is a juke. Maybe they did expect A bizarre deck from me. We'll see. Academy was not a great draw. I was hoping for a little more action. All right, starting on 8 power on turn 1 on the draw. Not exactly the most potent start in Vintage, but it appears my opponent had a slow draw and they are wasting, well, I don't know if I could say they're wasting their land, but I bet they don't expect me to have an island. They were able to get a colored mana source for themselves, so maybe that is important to them. Okay, and that's it for game 1. Again, I have no idea what I'm playing against. Let's see if I can pull up a list. This player has been doing a good bit of brewing recently. I historically saw them as a pretty big Doomsday player, and they have a lot of published results with that. The blind. I frankly don't know what to do on the blind here. I'm not reading them as a combo deck, so I'm thinking of trimming down Chalice, Trinisphere, Statue. Also not putting in Mind Break Trap. I think I can do without Lodestone Golem as well. They have been doing some brewing in the Bizarre space. I know at one point they were trying to jam, I believe, Urza's Saga into a countervine, like Bizarre Squee style deck. I'm going to give this a shot. I need some more information. Well, yeah, that is certainly a keep, right? Workshop, Crypt. I'm going to be able to draw 2 with the Wellspring. Don't have a blue source for the Ancestral, obviously, but if I am not hindered at all, I should be able to see 3 cards in the first turn. I've got plenty of cantrips. Let's give that a shot. They've mulliganed to 6. All right, they've kept their 6. Okay. So maybe this is Merfolk after all. If in fact they are Merfolk and they were just using that other land, I can't recall the name, as an additional wasteland effect, I'm going to want to get in there with this Ichor Wellspring sooner rather than later, given that they have Hull Breachers. So let's see if we can get this in there. And a top. Crypt. Ruby. So I am inclined to go for the KCI here. I would like to do more of my card drawing now as opposed to later. They certainly could have something backbreaking like an Energy Flux. But I suppose I can try to cross that bridge when I get to it. Ancestral. I mean, Black Lotus for Ancestral. I mean, there's not too much I can complain about that. I feel like up to this point, if they could have countered me, they would have. So why don't we just go for it? I feel like there is a victory in here somewhere. So let me just think about this for a moment. And for sure doing this. You feel about a scrap trawler? How do you feel about a Ravager? Yeah, if they don't have any counter magic here, I've got a pretty decent chance at a turn 1 kill. All right, they're pausing here. Okay, they had a Dismember. Expect a Dismember. So what can I do with that? I wonder here if what I'm supposed to do is sacrifice the Mana Crypt. There's no way I can time this to get the Trawler and the Ironworks in my graveyard at the same time, correct? Like, what I would really like to do is have that Trawler go down and the KCI go down at the same time. I think if I were paying for an ability, I might be able to make that work. Not really sure how to handle this. My biggest concern is next turn that they energy flux me, right? I'll have a Tomb. So I want to keep that Mana Crypt around. Do I want to keep the KCI around? I don't think I need the KCI. I don't think I need the KCI. So what I'm thinking about doing is sacrificing the KCI to get the Wellspring back, I guess. Oh, I'm going to be able to look at 3. All right. I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna sacrifice the Trawler, get some mana out of that exchange, and then get the Wellspring back. Let's just do that. Go ahead and use the Wellspring. Maybe I can get some action here. It counts as action. Another KCI, not really exactly what I was looking for, but let's keep the chain going. Wasteland's not looking too hot. All right, let's go again. Inspector. I kind of wanted to keep the Mana Crypt around in case, again, they have that energy flux. But I think I am supposed to go for the Foundry Inspector here and look with top. So I am going to do that. I'm going to just try to fight. I'm going to try to go for it this turn. Pop out the graveyard. Take a look at that a little bit more. Sensei's top. Look with top. Okay. So I'm at the point where I whiffed. I think that would have been a turn 1 kill had they not disrupted me with that dismember. I also, I think, could have done my sequencing a little bit better. So from this position, I could play the automaton or an inspector if I use my top. So I could sacrifice my top, get an inspector out, get a ravager out, and I could just go for like maximum power. I don't really hate that. It does come at the expense of losing my top, which I'm not thrilled with. I would have a little bit of resilience against an energy flux in this position, right? Because I've got the Ancient Tomb. An advantage of getting the automaton here would be that I would have a little more resilience against that flux. I could put my counters onto it. I guess I don't really hate that. I also don't have to get rid of the top then either if I do that. So I'm going to do that. And we'll keep the Ironworks alive. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that wasn't a bad turn 1. I was pretty excited that I had the chance to really show what this deck is all about and go off turn 1. I mean, yeah, I'll take an island. So I mean, I lost my top. Of course, not happy about that. I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, so we will play a top. I'm also going to look here because if I have another top, then I can do the good stuff. Not another top. Okay. So then what I'll do is play another automaton. And a Ravager. I will not sacrifice that Ravager to the Ravager at this point. I just want to play around Flux. Notably, I've got another Ancient Tomb coming. Cavern. Naming Merfolk, so it is Merfolk, like I thought. True name Nemesis. I don't think that matters at all. I'm going to be, yeah, I was going to say I can swing all and sack with Ravager to put counters to finish with the Automaton. All right, got there against Merfolk, playing Volatile Fault. Very interesting card. Right, round 2 in this vintage league up against Meg Winnie or Meg Winey. Typically, they're known for big blue artifact-based decks. In this case, they're playing a Lurrus deck. I'm going to keep this. Got a couple of Foundry Inspectors and a way to cast it, and an Ancestral. I expect them to assume that I am on a Bazaar deck, not only because all of my recent published lists are Bazaar decks, but also because I believe the last lists they saw me were Bazaar decks. And I guess a Scam deck. All right, so they've looked at the top card of my library, which means that they have a good chance of knowing what I'm playing. Would love some fast mana here. Any Mox would be great so that I could get a Ravager down and then getting that Tolarian Academy going. All right, so they're going to draw 2, and let's see what they saw. They saw a Godpharaoh statue. Not exactly my best draw, but we're going to go ahead and get this Foundry Inspector down. At least try to. Would not love to see a Force of Will. Interesting that they didn't use their... Well, I guess there was no reason to use the Strip Mine earlier. Okay. Not entirely unexpected. I think here I'm inclined to get a Ravager down. I don't really want to expose my Academy. And it's not like there's much I can do. I don't want to expose the Academy. I am going to go ahead and play a Ravager. Flusters. So they Force of Willed. That's very interesting. I kind of smell an Orcish Bowmasters here. Wonder if I can see a published list. Just taking a moment to look. Yeah, 4 Bowmasters. So they're on a 4 Bowmasters deck. They really do love that style of list. Doesn't surprise me. So maybe I should have held back with the Ancestral. I'm going to go ahead and attack and maybe draw out a Bowmasters at this point. I wasn't thinking enough about Bowmasters when I made that decision, but I'm expecting it here. Yeah. Okay. Might get a second bite at the apple here in a moment. All right, so they did have the Wasteland. Lures in hand. Okay. I would say that's great news for me. All right, let's... I think I need to make them have a counter. I don't think they play a daze, right? I don't think I need to play around that kind of nonsense. Let's just go ahead. You have a counter? They did have a counter. Wow. Maybe that was greedy. Not sure I've been playing my best here. What did they exile? Another Flusterstorm. Yeah, you know what? I could have held that, assuming that they're going to play Alaris here. Notably, next turn, I do have a Godpharaoh statue I can cast, so maybe it was fine. So they have a Luris and something else. Kind of inclined to play that statue while I can. So I could make their Luris cost 5. They didn't have the Luris last turn, or they would have been able to play it. Karn gives me an angle at winning next turn. Prevents them from drawing a card with Luris. I mean, it's just got to be the Godfarer statue, right? Any land. Although I can't just win, can I? I can't. I can't Karn and Lattice. I don't believe, right? I would need 4. I would need 8, and I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6, so I can't do that. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Part of my calculation there was I'm doing so much damage to them already, and I'm going to keep pinging them with this Godfarer statue. Like, they can go ahead and play a Luris. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but it's very slow. You're going to let me untap the Academy? I think then they must judge that this game is over, right? Let's animate the Godfarer statue. And I've got a Time Walk as backup. Okay. All right. I have never played against Luris Saga with this deck. Like I said in my introduction, I haven't played this quite a long time. So I'm just going to take a look at their hate. I see Steel Sabotage, some removal. Makes sense that I don't see an Energy Flux. Well, I definitely want to bring in this Walking Ballista. Maybe take out the Chalice in the draw, right? I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to go big against them in general, given the 4 Bowmasters. Maybe I want the Dismembers. Kind of want to bring in some Wastelands for their Sagas. Trim on Wellsprings. I could just trim on the KCI stuff, honestly. Like, really trim down hard on it and just try to play in like an artifact-based aggro deck that would occasionally have a combo finish. I'm gonna do that. I don't really need a KCI. I keep the Chalice in the play. Let's give that a shot. Like I said, not really sure how to play against this deck yet. Just trying an aggro angle. They mulled the 6. I think I can keep this. Yeah. Can I? Turn 1, trawler top. Yeah, I think this is fine. Tinker's not as good right now because I took out the God-Pharaoh statue, but I'm inclined to point this mental misstep really at anything. I do hope this resolves. Play Mindbreak Trap. They play Mindbreak Trap. Let's see a Mindbreak Trap. I think Mox is a great draw. Okay, so they're going to do something. Maybe a Lorien revealed. I'd rather you didn't. Wow, they had a Force of Will too. That, to me, that looks like a sign of desperation that they're doing this. Like they don't have a second land, maybe. Wasteland. Time Walk? Yeah, okay. Don't love seeing that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right, so they're kind of digging here. I have a window of opportunity here. So I missed on the land. Missed on the land. So that is bad news. I really needed any land there or a wasteland. So given that I didn't hit a land, I do wonder if I am supposed to hope it's the third card down. Or I can just play the Patchwork Automaton. The fact that they have done that with Spreading Seas tells me that they're a little bit on the desperate side. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this needle ready for a saga. So my first thought was, okay, next turn I can play the Patchwork Automaton, and next turn loop the tops a little bit to get in some extra damage. But I think this is going to be a slower and grindy game. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to push this game as fast as I want to. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the top down, then the needle, and the automaton. So I'm going to try to put pressure out. But I'm not going to loop the tops. I'm going to skip a turn of looking for land. And I got an answer to Saga. That pause there suggested to me that they have more counter magic. Lorien revealed. So they are now representing a Bowmasters. I think I am priced into doing this right now. Because I want to attack with the Automaton, and I really don't want Orcish Bowmasters to be a blowout. Although, interestingly, Bowmasters kind of is a blowout anyway. I mean, I can shoot my Scrap Trawler and my Automaton. They could shoot my Scrap Trawler. That's not a total blowout. I'll attack in. I don't really think I'm in a position where I'm allowed to play scared here. Yep, they did have it. I was supposed to respond. I was supposed to respond for sure. Okay, so that wasn't great. Feel this game slipping away from me. There's the Saga. And Lurs is coming. So it's not great. Still missing on land. That is quite bad. Am I ever getting one? Jeez. So my way out of this is Mystic Forge, but they've got a Bowmasters. And with not really a lot of land to do it, so to be clear, I think this game is over. I think I think if I got a land earlier, it wouldn't have been an issue, but not quite the world I get to live in. Yep, there's Luris. And they hit a bobble. Look at that. Wow. All right, they're going to draw two. They're going to be able. Yeah. Yeah. This is not good. They hit like a misstep or something, or a force blue card, then I'm definitely toast. The fact that they're pausing there is pretty problematic for me. I mean, I do have like a scrap trawler. Problem is they're going to be playing that Bowmasters every single turn. It's going to be hard for me to push through this damage. So look, I'm not thrilled about this. Not thrilled at all about it. But I need to do something big here. And this is my one opportunity. I think they have a counter based on the way they've been pausing. What do you have? I mean, I have to go for this. This is my one out. Okay. This game feels quite over. Okay. Got it. All right, they go back to 11. Mm-hmm. So there's the land, right on time, of course. But it is the way I could potentially come back from this. I have to do it. Might have like another Bowmasters here, maybe. Okay. Hardcast Force. Well, I mean, I think I have to play. The Ravager. Hope for some more stuff from the top. That's a little not quite what I needed to see. I mean, I could play the Wellspring here. Wouldn't be not thrilled with the idea. Really, what I wanted was another creature in play so that I could attack through. I mean, does it really matter if I take one more damage to get or two more damage from the Wellspring? I think so. I feel like I need to churn through my deck a little bit. I'm gonna go for it. And again, looking for like a Black Lotus here, maybe. All right, so I didn't get there after all. Attack in for what would be lethal. Yep. Just trying to tie up their mana. Yep. Ballista would be the out here. Ballista would be a phenomenal draw. Are you really thinking about an attack here? Why? Yeah, I don't know why they would think about an attack there. Maybe I should have done that then. Was I supposed to drop the automaton? Yeah, I mean, I probably win if I do that. But yeah, I was probably supposed to forge an upkeep and I just got complacent. But let's not get complacent here. Gonna have to block both of my creatures. I just have to hope they don't get like a Time Twister or something. That's fine. I think I misplayed. I really needed to hit a land there. Yeah, it looks like I can only do 9 to them here, right? If I want. Can't push through that damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, pretty sure I misplayed. I don't think that's just hindsight bias here. I think I misplayed. I gave them an out for some good draws. So that's interesting. I'm going to have to sack the Ravager to put it on there. Maybe they've got another one and they kill me. I have to do it. And a Saga. Is there any way I could draw that Dismember? Okay, sorry, I might go quiet here for a moment while I think this one through. So Academy gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So I have 7 mana to work with. So I could. So I could Scrap Trawler and Tinker. What am I tinkering for? I only have 6 minutes left. Let's hope that's an artifact I can cast. Like a Mox or something. Is that anything? Think so? I think I need to start playing fast though. Okay, think I got there. That was tight. Opponent complaining about slow play. Um, yes, I played a little slow. This is a hard deck to pilot. This is not paper. I played this in paper before, and it was horrible. I'll just agree with them. How about that? What a troll. Okay. All right, they are going to try to get their revenge here by running out the clock. All right, round 3, up 2-0 against a player by the name of Workshop. I can't seem to find any results for them on MTG Goldfish. On the play, let's see what this looks like. I mean, yeah, I can definitely keep that hand in the blind. So it's a matter of how to sequence this. So I could start with Foundry Inspector into Mana Vault Time Walk. I do waste a bit of mana that way. But I'm also setting myself up for... Not really sure how to begin here. Again, option 1 is Inspector into Mana Vault Time Walk. Option 2 is Sapphire into Ancestral and go from there. Option 3 is just Island Mox Time Walk. I don't hate that. I'm not wasting any mana that way. Yeah, let's try that. I mean, I also could Ancestral and try to hit a Mox for the Time Walk. I could get extra greedy. Just going to go for a Time Walk, get a little bit more information, see if they bite on a Force of Will. Again, if they're looking at my Goldfish page, they're going to see mostly Bizarre decks, maybe a couple of Shops decks. So seeing, Island, Mox, Time Walk, they might not expect that I'm on a Workshop deck. Probably think I'm playing Force of Wills, that sort of thing. Sure does seem like they are playing a deck with counter magic. As always on Magic Online, it is difficult to interpret the nature of a pause like this. For all I know, the opponent has gone to get, a cup of water, something like that. But it sure does feel like a counter to me. I feel like I've been drawing my blue cards and... Oh, Narcomoeba. Oh, it's a dredge deck. Or it could be an Oops deck. I think I'd rather play against Dredge than Oops, but... Okay, so it's a Dredge deck. Oh, they had a Chalice too. Let's go ahead and pop out their graveyard. Okay. So I for sure have my work cut out for me. I think I'm dead. But let's see. Oh, that Chalice is brutal. So the question here is whether I can afford to wait here. Like, do I want to top right now? And if so, do I use the Divining Top? Like, do I tap it? I mean, what am I looking to hit here? I mean, Tinker means I draw my deck. So that would be, well, it doesn't because I'd have to get rid of the top. So if I'm going to use the blue mana, it would likely be next turn. I'm going to double check what a dredge deck looks like these days. Let's see here. Most of the dredge lists I'm seeing don't have the force of will. That seems to be a common trend right now, I see. Okay, here's one. So what's interesting is if they don't hit a Narcomoeba and I were to play a Patchwork Automaton and maybe go infinite, I could kill them next turn. But they've got 2 dredge 4s. They're going to dredge at a minimum 12, right? Whatever I end up doing is going to involve a lot of mana. I'm just going to use the island to look. So there is an Automaton. So what I could do is play the Automaton right now, leave the top on top. I'm gonna have a shuffle effect next turn. So the question is, what am I more likely to kill them with? An Automaton? Or KCI stuff? I mean, I can play Ichor Wellspring into Automaton. Could do that. Tap the top to draw Wellspring, Wellspring into Automaton, and look. Kind of like that. I really need to dig. I think it's probable that this Scrap Trawler ends up being very important this game. But Trawler down, then Automaton, then Wellspring. All right, let's draw. Wellspring. Top. I think I need to look here. Put it like a Ravager or something. At least want to know what I'm getting. All right, so I don't need another workshop, right? All right, so I'm going to do... Again, coming down to the question of what do I value more, the scrap trawler or the automaton? I'm going to be able to have a few looks next turn. Of course, if I find a Mystic Forge or a Tinker, I'm not going to want to get rid of that top. It really does feel like I probably want that trawler. I don't know. They've already gotten rid of one of their Narcomoebas, correct? So do they have another Narcomoeba in their top 12? It's also possible I could kill them with a Ravager. Like if I attack with Inspector and Automaton. The Automaton as it stands would be 4/4, so I could attack for 7 next turn. And then I'd be looking for like a Ravager or something like that. Alternatively, with the Trawler, I'm looking for a Mystic Forge or like a KCI or a Ravager. Feels like there are more outs with the Trawler. And I want to keep that top in play. I think it gives me more outs. So I think I put the Trawler on top. Because if I find a KCI, I think I can just potentially win. Although even if I do that, yeah, so my victory would be Walking Ballista with Infinite. And next turn, I'm going to see 4 cards using the shuffle effect. I think I leave the Trawler on top. All right. Let's see. Not sure if that was right, but I do the dredge stuff, and they do, which makes sense. And they hit the Narcomoeba and a Creeping Shell. Gambling Shell. Okay. Okay. They're going to dredge again. Another Creeping Shell. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take 1 from my Mana Vault. I think my odds of victory here are pretty small. Okay, they're deciding to stack their abilities here. Makes no difference at all. Okay. We got 2 creatures. I'm going to take some damage from my Mana Vault. Trying to figure out, are they actually, maybe they're double queued or something? I don't know what kind of disruption they'd have here. Maybe a Noxious Revival? Maybe Force of Vigor main? I mean, it probably just lose to Force of Vigor main. If they have that, it's certainly not stock. I just think they're probably double queued. Which doesn't make for the best viewing experience. All right, let's take a look at the top. Well, I did have an infinite automaton, but it wouldn't have mattered because of the Narcomoeba. Okay, so I think I just have to use the delta and look, hoping to hit like a Mystic Forge. Didn't hit. I'll have to try again next turn. Doesn't bode well. I think this game's over. But we're gonna try. Keep the blockers back. Yeah, they've got 2 Icarids. Pretty sure I'm dead. Just gonna F6 here. Hopefully get them in games 2 and 3. Might as well start thinking about sideboarding. Gosh, I've burned a lot of time on my clock already. I have to be pretty careful about that. It's obviously going to bring in Needle, Lantern, Crypt, or Wasteland. Probably going to take out some stuff like Lodestone Golem, that sort of thing. Another chill. I mean, I've got one more draw on the Mystic Forge. It's really not likely. Yeah, I guess I have to block 2 of the 3s. Okay. Like I said, my out is exactly Mystic Forge. Can't even be Tinker. KCI, I think, would have done it last turn, for what it's worth. Yeah, they do have the Noxious main. I mean, they could Noxious Revival me and it's game over. All right, down to 1. Okay, I'm dead. That's unfortunate. Good starting hand, but they had the Force and Chalice. What was the next card down? Always like to look. Scrap Trawler. Alright, was never getting there. But I did have an infinite automaton if I wanted to. It just didn't matter because of the Narcomoebas. Alright, well, Chalice is out. That's out. That's out. That's out for sure. We're going to put in the Wastelands, Tormod's Crypt, Pithing Needle, 2 Lanterns. I mean, I could take out the Karn. I'm just hesitant to do that because when I'm going off, it's often the Karn that results in the victory. But I could just put the Ballista main instead. Yeah, I can take out Karn. I'll put in Ballista then too, so that doesn't really solve any problems. Probably going to take out a couple of some of the KCI stuff. No, maybe some of the Patchwork Automaton. I think I'm still trying to combo over them. Automaton is a good blocker for Hollow One, though. Like if I end up in a situation where they end up with, Hollow One in play and I think I'm just trimming on the KCI stuff. Yeah. Give this a shot. I'm going to keep in a KCI. But I'm really playing more for hate here. I think actually that's fine, isn't it? Really not wild about it. But I got Wasteland and a Needle. I think I have to keep. I don't think there's a world I'm allowed to put that hand back. Just not sure it will matter. I'm a workshop away from drawing my deck. But, they're going to have Force of Vigor and Force of Will and Force of Negation, potentially. Like, I'm sure they're bringing in Force of Vigor. I don't know why they wouldn't. So really not thrilled with this hand, but priced into it. I have to hope they don't have counter magic or mulligan low. Yeah, these dredge decks have so much disruption. Mulligan to 6 to 5. That is boding well. Of course, dredge can kill you with just a Bazaar. Alright, what did you powder? Powdered mulligan to 4. Getting rid of a grief. Cool. Alright, so they kept on 4. Go ahead and play a Needle. Don't like that pausing. I keep saying that though, but all they've done is pause this league. They're a mono pause player. Pretty cool that we're getting Pithy Needle in Old Border. I might just stick with the gray stuff online. I don't really like any. None of these are what I would consider personally to be the optimal card choice, but I don't usually optimize my online cards very much. I usually just do that in paper, which is probably the inverse of what it should be because I almost never play paper anymore. Since the start of the pandemic, pretty sure I've only played once, and that was in paper once, and that was Eternal Weekend of 22. All right, that's a reasonable enough start. I'm going to need some help, definitely. Well, there's their Bazaar. I mean, as much as I was tempted to keep that Wasteland up for a Force of Vigor, I feel like I need to play my Mana Source here. Like they can get me with Dredge stuff, but if I don't have, if I'm not advancing my board here, I think I'm just going to lose eventually. And like I said before, I've got the infinite combo in my hand. So if this goes south, then I at least have an out here. But I need this top to resolve. What are we looking at for top? I've stopped interpreting their pausing. I can tell you that much. They're down to 12 minutes. I mean, if they Force a Vigor me here, it's not great. But if I have a Workshop on top or a Lotus, I could win next turn. Mystic Forge Inspector on top is a hell of a drug, I'll tell you that. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, next turn I had infinite draws. I had a time walk, so that's good. But now I have to break serve. Moments like this, I wish that I had kept the tabernacles in the board like my old version used to have. Is this crazy on the draw, trimming on wastelands and just trying to combo them off? That seems bad, right? Could just cut the automata. Is that the plural? Automata? Automatons? I don't really know. I think I would like to retain the ability to go big if I need to, especially on the draw. Like as much as these are good, blocking hollow ones, I don't think that's right. I think these are much better against Countervine. Let's give this a shot. Just going to try to go over the top of them. Well, I can say it's definitely been an interesting league so far. I want to fit some more Walking Ballistas in here in the current metagame. That is, if this is a deck that I'm invested in trying out more of, which I'm not sure I am. Right now I'm just playing for fun. I don't have an a priori reason to believe this deck is well positioned right now. I mean, surely my opponent has used all of this time thinking about whether or not they do want to keep in Bazaar. It does discard 3 cards, so I can understand their hesitation. They've mulliganed to 6. This hand, I don't think there's anything I can do with this hand. Yeah, it's got a KCI and a trawler, but it has no other action beyond that. This I can keep. Probably putting Ballista on the bottom. Very important to note that I would be putting the Ballista on the bottom. I don't love that my only hate here is a strip mine, but it is what it is. They mulligan to 6. They've kept, so that's not good for me. Let's go ahead and put Ballista on the bottom, see what they start out with. Okay. No Bazaar. Go ahead and cast Sapphire. How do you feel about this? All right, that drew a counter. All right, they hit a Dredger. Not one of their best ones. If they have another Bazaar, I'm probably toast. Oh, they did have another Bazaar. 3 Bazaars. Oh, jeez. Okay. Workshop. Again, I'm in a position here where I need to find some hate. Sensei stop. All right, let's see what I can do here. So am I going to have to tinker for, like, Crypt next turn? I really needed a Saw land there. I don't think that's a decision I need to make right now, right? Probably am going to die here. I could tinker into a Forge next turn. No, I can't. I mean, I could, but I won't have the combo. If I hit a Workshop, I could have gone infinite the next turn. So I think I am dead. I'm going to pass. I need them to whiff substantially here. Okay. Okay. No more creatures, please. Okay. All right, so I am alive, just barely, but they are beating me down pretty hard. They're going to end up with some. They're going to end up with 2 3/3s in play. Man, Tinker not looking its best here. Oh, and the Silver Smoke Ghoul? Okay. Yeah. So even if I Tinker here, I'm just going to die. And I have to do it? Or Tinker for a Mystic Forge, hope I hit with Lotus on the top? Tinkering for Lotus doesn't do anything. I have to get hate here. Or it has to be the third card down. What's more likely? I think the only way I win this is doing the Tinker, getting the Tormod's Crypt, and just next turn getting a Workshop or something like that. It's not good. KCI. That's actually not a bad idea. Because I can get some draws off the Wellspring. Well, I'm 100% tinkering. All right, what am I going to get? Kind of like KCI. Maybe able to draw 4. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of about that sooner. I really need some help here. Can I get a land, please? Wow. 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 And that's it. I'm dead. That's super unfortunate. Yeah, what was my next draw? Tomb. All right, so I was just never getting there. All right, round 4, up 2-1, I think, although it looks like my prior match was nullified, which I don't really know what that means for this league. But I'm up against an opponent by the name of ASY. Looks like they play Oath and Tinker decks, or at least those were their 2 most recent results. I think I'm just going to assume that they are on Oath. This hand is too slow. Yes, I have the Ancestral, but I don't have any turn 1 play other than that. I need to be a little bit faster. I have the Ancestral again. No blue source. I mean, this is definitely a keep. The question is, what do I put back? I think it's either the Ancestral or the Mana Vault. Or, sorry, the Ancestral or the Ancient Tomb. I think I'm inclined to put back the Ancient Tomb. I've got decent mana already. I should be drawing a couple of extra cards. On the other hand, if I'm wastelanded, like if they're not on Oath or Tinker, that's pretty bad for me. Let's just go with the more reliable play and put the Ancestral on the bottom. Reinforced. Okay. God Pharaoh statue. That's interesting. Can't quite do that on turn 1, but I may be able to drop it on turn 2. Originally, what I wanted to do was play a Workshop and a Mana Vault and start going off with Ichor Wellspring. But if I do that, I could end up with 5 mana on next turn, which isn't enough for the God Pharaoh statue. So what I think I need to do here is start on Workshop and Wellspring and get some more information. Well, that is more information. That is what I was looking for. Okay. So next turn I can play the God Pharaoh statue. So I think what I'm going to do probably is play the Mana Vault. Start doing Ravager, Sensei's top stuff. Notably, if they do play an Oath, Mental Misstep wasn't great. I was going to say, if they do play an Oath, at least I could sacrifice my Ravager. Yeah. Well, that Mental Misstep was unfortunate. It makes me wonder about my sequencing. I don't like the look of that. Makes me wonder if they're on Doomsday. Yikes. Okay, well, that couldn't have gone any worse. Well, I guess it could have gotten worse. Gonna take. Oh, they hit the Force of Will too. And an Orchard. Those were good hits. And Oko. Okay, so they chose Orchard, Force. Okay, so they have blue card Force and a Lotus. I think they're trying to play an Oko. Oh, Tinker. Well, this this certainly couldn't have gone any worse. Wizards, can we nullify this one too, please? I don't even know what I could draw here. A Tinker of my own, just in time. I mean, I know they have the Force. They have Force and an Oko. There's no way they're going to let the Godfarer statue resolve. Well, I do think I'm probably dead. I just have to think, is there any possible way I can get out of this? Hmm. All right, so this is their hand. Orchard, Force of Will, Oko. So, I mean, I could play the Godfarer statue. They're going to force it and hope they whiff. But there's no way that resolves. I could also try for the Ravager and hope they whiff. They're going to play an Oko, though. See if I can get some power on the board. They might not force the Ravager, and I might be able to get into multiple threats somehow. Do I look with top first or not? I think I'm pinched on mana, so I don't. That does count as another threat, but it's not exactly the one I'm looking for. The Foundry Inspector. Kind of interested in a Foundry Inspector. And an island for Tinker. So I could get multiple threats out next turn. The issue is that they've got a Bolas' Citadel. I think I am interested in playing that Foundry Inspector, though. All right, I've got 5 power. Yes, they have an Oko. Yes, they have a Citadel. It does not look good. But I got a couple of threats out. Next turn, if I get a next turn, I believe that I can Tinker and Godfarer statue. Okay, they've got an Oath. And they whiffed. That is huge news. do you feel about a top? Forcification, removing what? Oh, they just cast it like that? Well, yeah, that is a problem then. Okay, so there goes my Tinker. You feel about a Ravager? Maybe I should have started with the Ancestral. Okay. Here's the Oko. Alright, here's a Godfarer statue. I've got a Tinker next turn. Again, I'm not thrilled with this. So I can do 5. I can do 7 to them. 6 to them. So the Godfarer statue is going to do 1. I can do 6 to them here. That gets rid of a good Tinker angle for me, right? But I put them at 1. I'm pinching them on mana. Like, yes, they probably will get a Boseiju. Or there's a good chance they hit a Boseiju. I think I'm supposed to do it, though. And not worry about the Tinker. I'm going to put them down to 1. Now they need to answer multiple threats. I mean, might as well F6. They did hit the Boseiju. And a Force of Vigor. Jeez. I think they got me. Pretty unfortunate. Super close. So close. Thought for a minute I might have it. Definitely don't. Yeah, they have the vigor. So, I mean, I am dead. I don't think this does anything. I think they've got counters. I'm gonna go for it, I guess. That's not it. I mean, I'm not technically dead. Oh, man. Okay, I am technically dead. Well, that game felt closer than it had any right to be. Oh wow, I would have gone off. Huh, look at that. That's funny. Yeah, I think I just go off. Oh, I would have. It would have stopped here. Hmm. I don't think I'm going to change a thing. Nope. Matchup doesn't seem great. Well, that's unfortunate. Can't keep that. Hmm. This hand. Do I really think a Lodestone Golem's going to get there? I think I can keep this hand, can I? Got so much hate. I can't. Problem with this is putting two back is tough. It's like Time Walk, Soul Ring. Well, at least the prior game was interesting. This doesn't look great already. It could go off, but mulliganing to 5 is pretty tough. For sequencing, I think I'm just going to start with the Wellspring. I could hit another 0 drop. Which I did. Well, not the worst start, but really need to hit some action. A little late to the party. Hmm. Patchwork Automaton or KCI. I wouldn't hate having an attacker next turn before trying to go off with KCI. Maybe that maybe that's not thinking big enough. I think I'm gonna do it. You'd be surprised at how big those can get. And it already looks like they're going to oath me. Brainstorm. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Accept. Mystic Forge off the top. Yeah, so next turn, if they don't counter that KCI and don't have a Force of Vigor, this deck just goes off hard next turn. Um, and I can kill with the Patchwork Automaton. So that's interesting. Cool. On the draw, this is going to be tough. I'm sure Godfarer statues actually wouldn't be where I want to be. Got so much artifact hate. Do a couple of traps and a misstep. I mean, I don't love Mindbreak Trap, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do this prison stuff. So what's the other card? Be a Wasteland. There's no anti-oath deck, so I need to remain the combo deck. Be sure. Just give this a shot. Oh, that Chalice really got them hard. Probably a premature concession, but I don't think I'm allowed to put this back. They also kept 7. Do I sense an ancestral recall? How do you feel about this? So Patchwork Automaton, Ichor Wellspring, or Arcbound Ravager. Not going to tinker yet. I think it's Ravager. Could be Wellspring. I really do value putting attackers in on turn 1 if I can. If one of these were a soul land, it would be awesome. But I do want to tinker if I can next turn. I'm going to try to go big. Maybe that's wrong. They've got like force of vigor and that sort of thing. So I want to at least get some value while I can. Mindbreak Trap. Mindbreak Trap isn't great by any means. All right, there's the Oath. Definitely worth noting that I can get rid of this Ravager if I need to. Well, I guess that was an argument to keeping the Ichor Wellspring in play. I was just thinking maybe I could get, I should have let that Ichor Wellspring in play, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. I'm slow playing this a little bit. Slow rolling my main threat. Is what I mean to say. Hmm. Well, they could just figure me here. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not playing my best. Yeah. That was not a good play. Not at all. This deck is too big for my brain. Because now they can just figure me. They can figure me now. I can't stop the oath. So that this was quite a punt. Yeah, that was so bad. Not a forgivable mistake. That was so bad. Well, sometimes you mess up. This was one of those times. Why are they revealing that many cards? So many more than 10. Force of Vigor, Cataxian Pro, both druids, Group, and Chalice. Alright, so I'm just 100% dead. And by my own doing. Still don't know why they're. Oh, yeah, I get it. That's the Oath pile. Okay. One. Yeah, I punted this game so hard. Frankly, there are no outs, so I think I just need to concede. Yeah, this is done. That was really bad. My sequencing was pretty horrible. I don't think it would have mattered, but the. Yeah, okay. On to the next one. All right, this is either the fourth or the fifth round. I don't understand what's going on with my league, but I have nullified my match against Dredge was nullified. I lost my last one, so I might be 2-1 or 2-2. But either way, I'm going first against Fornius. Don't see any results on MTG Goldfish. Um, yeah, I mean, I've got Tinker into like Godbearer statue maybe. It's super all in, but sometimes in life you've got to be all in. I'll keep. You don't have to do that. I could Inspector Trawler. And then hope to hit another land. I don't know. I'm going all in. Resolve? It resolved. The Godbearer statue, and the game is certainly not over, but it's not a horrible start. Oh, game is certainly not over, especially if I draw like that. I mean, I did this to myself. Then Jewel? No, it looks like regular shops. Well, they definitely have a lot of mana. All right, well, that's a reasonable start. I need mana pretty badly. Amazing. This league, it started off so well, and then it devolved into what you are witnessing before you. You need to play like a giant Stonecoil Serpent. Golos. Oh, jeez. Yep. Strip Mine or Caracas. Old 7-mana Golos. Oh, they're just going to go big. They're just really not even going to care at all about my stuff. It's fine. All right. I like spheres and stuff. I would love to play Ironworks next turn. Half expecting like a Null Rod here. Mystic Forge. Okay. Naming Ravager. Okay. I don't really need the Ravager, actually. I've got the KCI for shenanigans. I'd love to draw some shenanigans. That'd be nice. That's shenanigans. Hey now. Shenanigans achieved? Can I finally do some KCI stuff? I think so. Now, whether this at all will matter, I don't know. You need to hit some things. Get back a Lotus. That's why I wanted to get back a Lotus. I don't know if I need this Godfarer statue anymore. Get back the Wellspring. I think I'm probably going to do that, and I'll end up time walking. I could just time walk right now and then see what I get next turn. I'm really not short on mana at all. How likely am I to just go off here? How important is that Inspector? I don't think the Inspector is that important anymore. So I'm going to get rid of the Inspector. I have so much mana. I can always get it back later. Maybe it was important. For sure going to time walk. Get the Black Lotus again, I guess. Just trying to go off here. Yeah, I'm just going to go off as hard as I can. Get the Inspector. Get the Ravager. I can make each of these a 4. 5s. I mean, I could totally whiff here. That wouldn't be great. There's a top. I was looking for a top. Let's look. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, so we are going to do it like this. Attack this. Tap to draw. Attack this. Getting the Mana Crypt. Attack this. Get back the Sensei's Top. Scrap Trawler. Play Ironworks. Top. Look with this. Are they done? They're done. Cool. Yeah, so I was just going to keep going off hard. Another Ichor Wellspring. Yeah, I was just going to get enough power on the field. Yeah, cool. So I think my line was pretty questionable. It just happened to work out. Definitely taking out this kind of stuff. Bringing in Wastelands. I think I want a Needle. They are on Golos. They've surely got Null Rods in the board. Is that what modern Golos lists look like? Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Mindbreak Traps, they might bring that in. A couple Null Rods, usually. Urza Saga. They've got all the spheres. We take out a KCI because it's expensive, although that is how I go over the top. Well, if I want Mindbreak Traps here on the draw against shops. I don't know if that's right. Been a long time since I played against Golos with this deck. Didn't mind trimming down some of the combo stuff. I think I have to keep that. Nettle Cyst? Sure. I don't care about a Nettle Cyst. That's all they've got. That's all they've got. Wish I hadn't put the Mindbreak Traps in my deck. But why don't we go ahead and do this to start? Get some more information. Ancestral. Animal. Wasteland. I mean, I think if they had a sphere in turn one, they would have started it that way. I mean, I've got to just go for it. I can't just wasteland their stuff. That's not what this is about. Hmm. Yep, certainly getting punished for that play. Interested in getting this Patchwork out. Make myself a nice big patchwork automaton. Let's take a look. Your wellspring. You don't mind if I do. How do I sequence? Well, I've already played my land for the turn. This is fun. I mean, am I interested in just making a giant ballista, like keep looping these tops? Yeah, kind of. Maybe time to look. That's a 6/6. Black Lotus, huh? Can Mind Break trap them next turn? Yeah, if I play the Lotus, I can Mind Break trap them. How funny is that? I mean, I'm for sure going to do that. What do I want to put on top? I would have to use the 3 Lotus mana and sacrificing the KCI. It's fine. So do I want a workshop on top? Probably. I also don't need this top, right? I could sack it for a Wellspring and Wellspring into Lotus, right? So make 2 from the top, get into a Wellspring, play the Wellspring, Wellspring into Lotus, and then I have Lotus, Wellspring for the Mind Break trap. I like that. All right, so holding priority. Draw. Play the Wellspring. Play the Lotus. And I'll pass here with a Mind Break trap up, an 8/8, and a Wasteland and a Strip Mine, and a Partridge and a Pear Tree. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I played this right, but that was sweet. Who's the prison deck now? I ask you this. How do you feel about 10 damage. Feel good about it? Bad about it? How do you feel? All right, Urza Saga is something. Buys them some time. Okay. For as much as I complained about luck earlier, I think I have been compensated. Okay. Okay, got there. All right, I'm in my 6th, I guess, and final round, up 3-2 by my count, 3-1 by Wizards count, up again against Sing Pan Man. We often play together in the mornings, so not surprised to see them twice in the same league. Assuming again they're on Merfolk, but you know, one of these days they're just gonna juke me, and it's gonna be what it is. All right, so this hand is, I'd say, pretty reasonable. I don't love. I'd love a Mox to go with that Soul Ring, so on turn 1 I could play my Ancestral and some other stuff, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and keep. So I'm probably going to just play. I'm going to play. I must be mindful of Hull Breacher shenanigans. So I'm thinking about doing Ancient Tomb, Sol Ring into Scrap Trawler. Be fine. I could also just Ancestral on their upkeep. Oh, if I hate that. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I do typically like putting an attacker out on turn 1, but I think do I value the cards more, or do I value putting an attacker in turn 1? I'm going to play Island Pass on their upkeep. I'll Ancestral. I know they play Fluster Storms and that sort of thing. Okay. Sometimes you get misstepped. Mana Crypt. Okay. It is Merfolk. Really don't want to play into a Hull Breacher. They did have the turn 1 Hull Breacher. It certainly looks like it anyway. Okay. know if I mind that. Sacrifice. Okay, you're going to take my Soul Ring? That I do mind. I mind quite a bit. And a Wasteland? Whoa. Okay, so that was a total blowout. I think Singpan Man's getting the revenge. Oh boy, that was not good. This game is over. Yep, this is done. This is done. Okay, that was a total blowout. Can't really do anything about that. Yep. All right, well, they're going to get their revenge. Am I going to end up with the 3-3 league? The coveted 3-3 league? I'm going to take out some of it. Some of this prison stuff just hasn't really looked very good. I put in like some wastelands. I'll just do that. Yeah, I think I'll just Dismember's not bad. Maybe cut down a little bit on some of the KCI stuff. Let's try that. Okay, that was a total blowout. I don't think that does it. I think that does it. Away the Ravager. I really want that Mystic Forge. Foundry Inspector. Please don't force me. Mindbreak Trap me. Don't do any of that stuff. Please. Really have to hope that they don't get me with like an Energy Flux or something on turn 1. All right. Pearl. Wasteland. Nullrod. Oh, they're Nullrod deck. That makes sense. No way that resolves. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is not turning out ideally. Okay. This is turning out ideally. Okay. Given that they're a null rub, 1 needle. Kind of do want the lodestone as extra damage. Trim down on the KCI a little bit. Maybe put in a couple of mind break traps. Feel a misstep. Maybe I just cut down on KCI entirely and just try to sideswipe this. Hmm. Take a look at their list again. Let's see here. 2 null rods, tabernacles. I don't know if I put that in. There's a saga. Odawara. Hull Breacher. Yeah, let's give this a shot. Yeah, keep. Okay. Feel about a Foundry Inspector. Feel about Mana Vault. Okay. They exile Tidebinder. Okay. Still got Mystic Forge. Yikes. Wow. Blowout. Alright, let's get the pressure on, I guess. Very unfortunate that was a force of negation, because I can't get it back with Scrap Trawler. Any of their 2-drops have... Wow, force. Do any of their 2-drops have flash? I don't think so. Oh yeah, the Hexcatcher does. What does it do though? What does Hexcatcher do? I think I'll pass. No. Yeah, if they've got it, that's fine. I want to clear the way for my Mystic Forge. Just need them to... Island would be great. Just get the Mystic Forge down. I need to resolve this. Not going to attack in case they have Hull Breacher. Wasteland. Take out my tomb. Yes. Okay. I can live with that. Don't think I'm going to be doing any wastelanding here, so let's play the Sol Ring. Exile the wasteland. Okay. So loses all abilities until as long as it remains. Okay, that's fine. Let's do this right. Oh, it countered that effect. How interesting. All right, we're going in. This game's looking pretty decent. Just have to fade. I don't even know if they play Energy Flux. What is this? Night Shaper? Okay. Fine. Actually, that's actually hilarious news because I can use Mindbreak Trap now. That's so funny. You turned on my Mindbreak Trap. And I really don't mind. I'm gonna sit back. I don't mind. I'm just gonna sit back with the Mindbreak Trap, which they just turned on. Yep. Second time I'm hard casting Mindbreak Trap this league. It's not bad. I think this game is wrapped up. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's a concession here for my coveted 4-2 league. Oh, good. I was hoping they'd actually let me play this out because it's fun. I like this deck. All right, that was a good draw. Sorry, I can time walk. I think I'm interested in just Wasteland pass. I don't think I'm in a rush. Yeah, I'll just Wasteland pass. I'm not in a rush here. I mean, they could play a Null Rod, but maybe I do care about a Null Rod. Max punished. I don't know if it really makes a difference, though, to be honest with you. Maybe I got greedy. I mean, they only played 2 Null Rods in my defense. All right, next turn, I'm definitely going to play a time. Again, I don't actually think this matters. Maybe this matters. All right, they have a Saga. It's not good. Mindbreak Trap is quite bad. Go ahead. This. Okay, that's fine then. So I'm just going to time walk. Oh, you know, I should have put the modular on the other Ravager. Hey, got there. Got the prize of a of a 4-1, so I can't complain about that. So this was a 4-2 league. And there were, a couple of near misses. So the match against this player called Workshop, so the dredge match that went to 3. It was a close 3. The game match against Oath went to game 3. I punted pretty hard. Not sure it would have made a difference. I don't know what I would change about this list going forward. Probably would want to fit in some more walking ballistas, maybe, with all of those bowmasters running around. I think that would make sense. Of course, earlier you saw the weakness of bowmasters in that I was able to combo off through them and kill them anyway. It's not like a hull breacher, which stops me cold. So probably interested in putting some ballistas in. I didn't play against mono white. I have to think that that's a bad matchup, especially now that I'm seeing lists with 4 null rods in the board. So I'm not really sure what I would do to mitigate the dangers of that matchup. And then Oath. I mean, this can't be a good matchup against Oath. I was hoping to dodge it with the fact that there's not as much Oath as there was a couple of months ago, but didn't get lucky. I think this can go over the top of Oath, but it's tough. So I think that the matchups that I would really want to address are Oath and mono white, especially mono white, given its high prevalence. Obviously, this deck does have some weakness against combo, but you'd be surprised how fast it can be. I think sometimes I might stream a colorless version of this deck, but for now, thanks for watching.